Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Texting. It's your girl, Shade. Hey, bitches.
It's your girl, Charles Pinky.
I didn't know we were singing and I'm not prepared. It's Glenn. Oh, I kind of sang.
That was melodic.
Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Texting. It's Shade in the building, joined by Charles Pinky and Glenn Pogue.
Bed-Stuy Brats.
The Bed-Stuy Brat. What?
On Reddit reply, kick it off, sis.
Yes. Sorry, I'm saying that because I'm like prefacing. So we're recording today after a tragedy occurred in Brooklyn. So I did want to start the top of the show acknowledging that actually maybe we don't, since this is not coming out until next week, or does it matter?
I think it doesn't matter.
Okay. So we're recording today when a tragedy occurred in our hometown borough of Brooklyn, New York. A person who was seemingly very unwell shot at innocent
Commuters
people riding the train. Yeah. In Sunset Park, Brooklyn. And I don't know what the updates will be when this episode airs, but as of right now, he's still on the loose. And for one, we just all want to have a moment to acknowledge the people who had to go through that and hope that everyone's okay. So far, it seems like no one is in like critical condition to my knowledge. And just hope that everyone is well and safe. And yeah, just acknowledge how fucking crazy and unfortunate it is that we live in a world that these things are happening.
Yeah. It's dark.
Yeah. So I would say before we jump into, the joyous bits, we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that. Do you ladies have anything else to say on it?
No.
Okay. That leads me to my unread. I feel like our government has just been like slacking lately, and like there's just so much crazy shit going on. And I've been seeing a lot of people post about like how much the mayor has increased like police presence in the train stations because the trains have not been as safe. And like there's this whole push to make sure that homeless people aren't riding the train. And just interesting legislation that feels very dated to me, whereas like so many of our politicians have run on progress and change and having things that like are more community based. And I feel like they're just bullshitting us. I listened to a whole daily episode and multiple other conversations around like how Biden was claiming that he was going to make so much reform to like climate change. And now he's like, oh, actually, forget it. And a lot of people think that he's like leaning away from that because midterm elections are coming up. And so he doesn't want to upset people. And like climate change is such a hot topic. But like you ran on all this progressive shit and now none of that is on the table. And it's frustrating. It sucks because I think the older you start to get, you start to realize how much this stuff impacts you. And it also makes you feel, even though you knew you can't trust politicians, it really makes you feel like you can't trust them. And that is a thing. So, yeah.
Lord help me. Do you have a happy reply? Because my unread is also very
doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom.
I guess
I was gonna say, depending on what Chelsea's is, we could do doom and then do happiness. But
okay, do your thread. Go. I'm also looking at the time.
Yes. Well, I was gonna leave fentanyl on red.
Oh god. Oh my god, are you watching that fucked up show? Oh no, sorry, that's different.
No. Well, it's so weird. I was talking with somebody that's out here in Mexico City about like just high school relationships and stuff. And I was telling her about this guy that I used to hook up with in high school. Actually, it was like from my freshman and sophomore year of college. And she was like, oh, wow, yeah, I knew him. You know, he died, right? And I was like, what? Like, I haven't spoken to him since then. I would see him kind of out and about. I know he had moved to LA. And based on just he's somewhat of a public persona figure. It seems to me that it was an overdose. And I was just like looking up fentanyl, and because I was thinking of this because I have a lot of friends that just dabble, and I'll be out with the girls and they just go, 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 go. And you just never fucking know. Rates of overdose deaths involving synthetic opioids, and fentanyl is a type of an opioid, which I kind of knew this, but it's in medical, like medically, it's used to treat severe pain, like advanced cancer pain, but folks will put it into like cocaine and heroin. And there's been an increase of 16% of drug overdoses, death related, whatever, since 2018 to 2019. More than 36,000 people died from overdoses in 2019, and the death counts are even higher as of May 2020. And there's thoughts that it's correlated with the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's just fucking dark. And it was just, of course, because I get obsessed with things, I was on the man's page all last night, just like looking through his shit, because it's just so odd to have known somebody like that and then they're just gone, but I didn't know them in all the time that was in between. And it's just like weird. Yeah, so that's my doom.
Damn. Mine is not as intense or serious.
Okay.
I just and I know this topic is kind of old and crusty, but I mean, it's not even going to be timely because this episode comes out so damn late. But Will getting 10 years, I think, was too much.
Oh, barred 10 years from the academy.
Yeah. I think 10 years is a lot.
I don't even like, I feel like that world is so made up that I'm like, I don't really understand what that even means.
I guess he can't vote.
No, I know like what he can't do, but I'm just kind of like,
okay.
Has this happened in the past? Is there like a precedent? So like,
I think someone has been barred in the past, but it took them like a year or something to even come up with the decision. Like they did this so fast, and like, I don't know, it just seems like even this isn't the justice system, but even like in this system, it's like
right.
Black people like are
right.
Get unfair sentencing. But yeah, mine is not that serious at all. So let's go to the replies.
Yeah, anything making you guys happy?
Yes, positive news. So like spring is coming, and like I have found that as you get older, young listeners, if you're hearing this, as you get older, you literally have to schedule time to hang out with your friends. Yes, you need to put your fucking friends in your calendar and be really intentional and like when you see friends. And so I've been making so many plans with friends. Like 2 weekends ago, I was at a friend's birthday party and we decided like we're gonna have a bowling night, like a double date bowling night. And like we actually like scheduled the day and scheduled the time and picked the restaurant, did the whole thing. And it was so fun. And it was funny because the guys were all like, oh, we're only doing this because the girls want to go. And then like they had the time of their lives bowling and like had so much fun. And they were like, can we do this again? Like, what's our next activity gonna be? And like, it's just fun because like you work so much and everyone has their own lives. So it's nice to be able to like have that time. And also like it's carved out and you're dedicating it to spending with other people. So I think you're just like more focused and more excited. And like I have tons of upcoming plans with friends and I'm really looking forward to it. Like people I haven't seen in a really long time. So I'm excited.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm gonna reply to feeling like a rich bitch in Mexico and just
you are very rich. Oh,
very rich.
Ooh, asterisk that. Yeah, that's sounding colonizing.
It did. I knew as soon as I was gonna say that it was wrong. That's not what I should say. I've just been out here because I've been working I work so much every day. It's ridiculous. So then most evenings I'll just like take myself out to dinner and I just like indulge myself, and you can just have the most beautiful meals here. And I had like a 4-course dinner that was not 4 courses. I just ordered a bunch of different shit and I made my own pairings and shit. And at the very end, they brought me out this like tiramisu that you're supposed to eat in one bite. And y'all, when I put it in my mouth, tears came to my eyes. Like I cried. It was like, and then I
love
out loud,
that.
I said, wow. Like it was so amazing. I'll never forget it. And I just been feeling very bougie and just treating myself. And yeah, it feels beautiful.
I think that's beautiful, as long as you are also taking your money and distributing it amongst the community in a nice, equitable manner.
And leaving tips.
Oh,
yes.
Big tips.
Okay.
Big tips.
We love it. And everyone else, don't go be a fucking colonizer in Mexico City, especially if you are white. I said it. I don't give a fuck.
For my reply, I'll say having guests. I feel like I've said this already, but whatever. We had family here this weekend and it's been great. And tomorrow we have friends coming in. So this spare bedroom is getting a lot of play. But when our family was here this weekend, something really funny happened. So I was going to save it for the Patreon, but what the heck? I'll share it here.
Ooh, a Patreon exclusive.
A Patreon exclusive. So my soon-to-be sister-in-law was basically like, do you want to, or like, let's do like a spa thing. Like, do you go to spas out here? And like, I get facials, but not necessarily spas. By the way, I found an incredible facialist. We'll talk about her later. We should actually probably have her on the show. Skin is perfect. And like, I cannot wait to see what she does with mine. But anyways, we wanted to go to a spa. So I asked, who do I ask? I asked Erica of Good Moms Bad Choices. And she goes, yeah, go to this spa. So I take a recommendation and I'm like,
oh
yeah,
my
I'm going
God.
with my mother-in-law and I'm going with my sister-in-law. So we pull up and like, it's like off of Crenshaw. And it was like a neighborhood I didn't really know, but it was also in Koreatown. I don't know. I'm still learning the city. So I look and I'm like, oh, it doesn't really look that nice on the outside. And then we go in and it looks beautiful. So we go in, we put on our slippers, put our things in the locker. We have on our bathing suits. We're getting ready for our treatment. Before you go into the treatment, they ask you to soak your body because we got like a full body scrub, kind of like what we did in Cambodia. Full body scrub, massage, everything. So we go into the room with the pool and everyone in there is
butt ass.
And the lady's like, oh, no bathing suit.
Chelsea.
So I'm like, I am so sorry. My friend neglected to tell me that this was a nude lady spa. And I'm here with my future mother, my future sister. And I don't know what to do.
What did y'all do?
What did you do?
So my sister goes, oh, it's okay.
Yes.
The mom goes, yeah, who cares?
Love it.
And we literally are in this fucking hot tub, ass naked, having a conversation. But it was really fun. It was like a cute bonding experience.
That's so cute.
Very much unexpected. But like when you guys come, if you guys are down, we should definitely go because it's like they have like a salt pool, they have an ice pool, they have a warm pool, and then they have all these rooms, like an oxygen room, a regular sauna, a really cold room, a salt room where you like lay in all the salt. It was just like really cool. And like the only time I've done something like that was in Cambodia this was not even the same, but like the most similar thing. And then you go and like all the people that work there are in like black bandeau and underwear. And like I'm like, why do y'all get to cover yourself?
I feel like usually those places are nude. Like they used to have one in New York and it was nice. And then it got real but yeah.
So I'm like laying down and like, you know, she scrubbed like all the dead skin off. Like my skin felt so soft. And then like I went back and she's like, oh, shower, I guess, to like rinse off all the dead skin. Cause she was like pouring the warm water on me and stuff, which by the way, I don't know why I thought I would be able to keep my hair straight. I was like, oh, don't touch the hair. My hair was curly after. But anyways, it was great. And then like after I showered, I came back onto the table. She like put like this mask on my body and on my face and everything. Then after that, she took that off and like gave me a whole massage. It was like a 2-hour thing. It was incredible. But yeah, that's going to be my new place. They offer a membership, so I'm definitely going to become a member. And then afterwards, I text Erica and Mandy, actually, because I had hit them both up. And I was like, you bitches did not tell me that this shit was naked. And they're like, we some naked ass bitches. And I'm like,
you should have known, girl.
I should have fucking known.
I thought it was going to be like a fucking happy ending massage place when you first started the story. And I was like, oh my Jesus.
Imagine. No, it was definitely, the women are super professional. Like it was great. So yeah, I'll reply to that, just the weekend in general and like those little surprise moments. We had like a few just like good bonding experiences, but it was really fun. And yeah, we should go. Olympic Spa in Koreatown.
Hey.
Love it. That actually reminds me, I got invited to a double date at a spa like that. And I'm like, so is it gonna be me and like the other guy's girlfriend like naked and the
y'all probably
that's worse than the
split
SPF,
up, right?
Yeah.
No, we wouldn't be together. Like it'd be women and men. But I'm saying, like, I don't know this guy's girlfriend that well.
Oh, well, maybe he wants you to become friends with her.
Yeah,
but like that's an odd first.
I'm not uncomfortable with that.
I'm not
neither. But maybe you guys should become friends first.
But it's just a little like, oh, hey, met you one time.
Vagine.
Here's my titties. They're
breast.
Speaking of the sunscreen thing, my hotline was blinging all weekend with notifications because we posted this question about how would you feel if your friend asked your man to rub sunscreen on her back. We talked about this on a past episode, and y'all were active in these comments.
Opinionated.
I love seeing how much y'all be passionate, and the engagement in the comments with y'all is so much fun. And
so fun.
Create more room for discourse like this in the future. And people are just hilarious. Somebody said, this is another reason why I only buy sunscreen. She could have just got a little tist, and this mess would have been avoided. And she wrote tist, TSST, TSST.
Oh wait,
obsessed.
That's hilarious.
So funny.
My mom also stepped into the shade room.
Your mom commented?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
I didn't see.
No.
Yeah, of course she was aligned with me, like mother, like daughter.
I'm fucking dead. Now she stepped into the shade room. It really felt like the shade room.
It did. There. I mean, here's another alternative opinion. Someone said it's sunscreen. Like if you're thinking that hard into it, I feel like it just reflects you and your intentions. Also, you should want a friend and a boyfriend to have some sort of relationship. As the only single person in multiple friend groups, that literally means I can't reach my back and you're around me. Not everything is that deep.
The I can't reach my back thing, I'm not buying that. Every single morning you get up and you lotion yourself, unless you're walking around with ashy ass backs.
I actually thought about it today and I was like, I probably don't get my back that well
but you get it.
I'm not saying you get it well, but you get it. Your back will be fine.
Right. I also had a white friend step into the shade room, not in the comments, but like we had a conversation about it. And he was like, are there people here who actually like require over SPF 50 in the comments? And there were some white women in the comments.
Of course, we all require over SPF. We all require sunscreen.
Because he was like, this is clinical for me.
Read a book.
Well, per him, it's clinical and dangerous if he's not reapplying every hour.
It is for all of us.
And I'm like,
message.
I wouldn't know that. I don't live that.
I mean, he would be in a bad way if he got in a bad way.
Guys, we can all get skin cancer. We all need sunscreen, but you can do it yourself. It's really not that difficult. Two hands. Look, my fingers are literally touching each other, which means I'm getting the entire surface.
Hold on, let me try.
Now use your other hand. Use your other
and get
arm.
the bottom.
No, I'm using this hand.
I'm saying you can use both. What you can't reach from the top, you can reach from the bottom.
Oh yeah,
it's very doable.
We do it every morning.
It's very doable.
Okay, there's one spot. Oh, but then I'd go like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. The same way you wash your back, unless you guys have dirty backs.
Yeah, that's true.
I
probably don't wash my back well enough either. Making me think a lot.
Lord help us.
And maybe just like overall flexibility and mobility of my limbs.
Well, then maybe suggest your friend goes to yoga.
Yeah.
So this week we have a return Black girl doing shit. We have Mistress Marley on with us. She actually joined us on episode 83, and now we're back almost 100 episodes later, which is kind of weird to think about. For those of you who don't know Mistress Marley, first of all, where have you been? Because I feel like I've been seeing you everywhere. She is a financial dom who holds an undergraduate and graduate degree in the human sciences. She also newly owns her own dungeon called Whips Dungeon.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear more about this. You also founded, last time we spoke, you founded Black Dom Sorority,
Yes.
and Pink Matrix,
Mhm.
and Black and Kinky.
Yes.
So a lot of businesses. And we really wanted to invite you on this week, especially, I mean, this month, especially because we're talking a lot about like financial freedom as Black women. And I'm like, who best to tell us about finances and financial freedom other than a financial dom that's killing it?
Period.
Period. I also want to point out that Mistress Marley has a new Instagram. It is Marley Mistress. That is MarleeMistress. And that kind of leads me into my first question. This is your 5th Instagram? 6th?
Oh my gosh. So I honestly wanted to talk about that because I was looking back through our emails, and the first time we ever talked or I was on the podcast was before the pandemic. It was February 9th, 2020.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy because at that time I was still kind of like starting out. You know, I hadn't started teaching yet online. I hadn't started doing any of that. And I was just pretty much just coming into my own. But since then, I've literally have had like 8 Instagrams now. This might be number 9 or 10.
Oh my goodness. Why is that? Why does your Instagram
literally have no idea why Instagram keeps deleting me.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a deletion thing. It's not me just doing it just because. So I want to say shortly after the pandemic hit, by summer 2020, I had got up to like 25K followers. And then by the next year, it was March 2021, they deleted me. So there was no explanation. Well, they were saying that it was sexual solicitation, that I was selling sex, which is definitely not what I do. But it's crazy because I see all these other pages that are doing way wilder shit, and I'm just like, what's going on here? But yeah, so
like the biggest
that's
person on Instagram, no shade to her or anything, like Kim Kardashian, her page is posting very sexy pictures and her page hasn't gotten deleted.
Yeah. So it's like with me lately, Instagram has kind of just been a thing where like if I'm on, I'm on. If not, I'm not. And honestly, I'm more on Twitter. Twitter is where it's at for me. So
I've heard Twitter is where it's at.
Yeah.
What's your Twitter for those who want to follow you?
My Twitter is Eyes X on Fire. So EYESXONFIRE. So Eyes on Fire with an X in between. Or you can just search Mistress Marley and I'll come right up.
Okay, perfect. That's so crazy that this is still happening because I went back and listened to episode 83. And on that episode, I think you were on your 5th Instagram and you were saying that you thought you figured out the loophole for getting deleted, which was changing your gender from female to male. And for a while, they weren't deleting you.
Wow.
Yeah, so I pretty much learned now through, I've tried everything. There's even sex workers where we've had like support groups over this because like we are always getting deleted. I've learned now that there's really no way around it. It's just chance. It's just your luck. So I could log on. I lost my page 2 weeks ago, but I got it back. But pretty much I could log on tomorrow and see the white screen of death, and I'm gone.
Well,
it's
speaking about hustles and running your own business, how much does your social media play into like the way you support yourself? How big of a part of it is it your business?
It plays 100%. So being a sex worker, times have changed. So back in the day, sex work culture was if a client wanted to see a sex worker, they had to know someone that knew the hotline number or be able to go like behind the scenes and ask. Now it's like you can just get on social media and a client or a sub can find a dom right away or find an OnlyFans person right away or a stripper, right? Like whatever, like we're all out there on social media promoting ourselves. And there's so many more sites now popping up for us to promote ourselves. So social media plays 100% in my business, from my subs to my events I have to my classes, everything. So it's like, it's the mecca right now, unfortunately, because it could be here today, gone tomorrow, which it's like, it sucks.
Yeah.
I feel like we should go to the most obvious of questions. If people haven't listened to our previous episode or don't know you, what exactly is a financial dom, or like finndom?
So the definition I like to use when explaining it to people is, I take men's money for fun. But the technical definition is, it's a psychological kink that involves a submissive party handing over their money to a dominant party, whether it's through a wallet drain, meeting them at an ATM, humiliating them. A lot of it deals with humiliation, but overall it's a monetary exchange for nothing in return. So 95% of my clients are virtual, so I've never met them in person, never will meet them in person. Most I might do is a Zoom like this or something. But that's pretty much the gist of it.
And what's a wallet drain?
So a wallet drain is like when I'm taking the subs money over a period of time. So like they'll hit me up like, Marley, I want to do a drain. And then usually what it is I'll get on Skype, or even we'll just do text messages. And so I'll say, every 5 minutes, you have to send me this amount. Every 10, send me this amount. Every time you do something I don't like, you have to send this. So you're draining their wallet in a small amount of time.
Wow. And are these people like wealthy, or do you have a variety of different types of clients?
It's a variety. So when I first started out, I had this kind of like thing where I just thought it was only wealthy men sending me money. But then I started getting like college boys. I started getting like 9-to-5ers, construction workers. I've had a few like police officers. Like I've had so many different types of people in different industries that now, like when someone hits me up, you have some subs that would be like, oh, I'm a Wall Street, blah, blah, blah. I want to tell their job. But for the most part, you will never know their job. So it's like, I don't ask, they just send the money.
And what do you know about like the psychology of that kink? Like, what are people getting off on?
I think the psychology is that a lot of the men that do send me money are in higher positions of power. Like a good majority of them, they're used to being in control all the time. But to have to relinquish that control to me in ways of giving me their money, the ways they support themselves, and knowing they will never meet me or see me in person, it's kind of a thing of, like I said, a lot of about finndom is humiliation. So it's a humiliation of it all. It's me calling them a loser as I'm taking their money and them just loving it. Just the overall view of just like, with some of them, it's a fantasy. For some of them, they feel like, oh, she's taking my money, I can't do anything about it, knowing that they could do something about it and not send it. But it's different types of things that go into play with it.
I find power dynamics so interesting in like kinks, because I find like I'm such a sub, but I think because in life I'm such a dominant person that I'm like, like to your point, like, oh no, what can I do? So I totally get that. That makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
So I also, when I first found you online, it was because of this picture that went viral, and it was you with a white guy on a leash. I believe you were at an HBCU, on the campus. And I was like, oh my God, who is this woman? I need to know everything. Is race play still a part of your work?
So I don't refer to it as race play, because race play amongst just Black doms is something that's kind of like can be triggering or can like have a bad connotation to it. Because usually when you see race play and kink, it's the other way around. It's have some very sick people, and I call them sick because that's who I believe they are. You have some very sick people that will use race play in a sense of making a Black woman their slave, knowing that's very real for us, knowing that's something that our ancestors went through, and all that. So race play is usually used in that sense. What I do is I do reparations. So with my subs, they send me money and gifts and things like that as reparations for being a Black woman or whatever. And I also give my subs basically the opportunity and the control over being able to refer to themselves as things. So my subs will come to me and say, I'm a white loser, before I can even call them one. I'm a white dork, a white nerd. I'll never amount to you. You're great, whatever. So usually most of those subs, they come to me with those. It's never oh, I'm going to seek out a sub just to call him a white piece of shit or whatever. It's always a consent thing. So I just like to use the word reparations.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's reparations I remember on episode 83, and I'll keep referring to it because I do want people to hear our intro to you. You had someone do like a Black History project. I was obsessed with that.
It's
Yeah,
really
legendary.
So the Black History project I did came from another sex worker, Mistress Velvet, may they rest in peace. You know, they always put into their work about having these subs do Black History projects and Black History work and really read like Black History novels and stuff like that, especially when like pertaining to Black women. So that's something that I took inspiration from and put into what I do. And it's just something I still even do now.
I love that.
You were talking about getting your reparations and just so many different streams of income that you have in your multiple businesses. How are you making your money stretch? Or do you have different investments? How are you like maximizing on your work, I guess?
So I have a stock portfolio. I have a Roth IRA that I use. I also now have my own dungeon, which is bringing in multiple, you know, streams of income, because not only can DOMs book us for their private sessions, but we're open for all types of events, whether it's a kinky event or not. You can use it in our space. So I have that also. I have my teachings. I have my passive income, which is subs just sending things. So there's never a day that goes by where I'm like, how am I making money today? It just kind of I wake up in the morning and just see mad like notifications from Cash App, Venmo, and stuff like that people have sent over. So it's just something where it's like, I come from a background where I did not learn financial responsibility, came from a really big family. Financially, we made it work, but we didn't have the most money. So for me now, it's still a learning process in what I do. But the best thing about it is I have a lot of friends that are business women. Like most of my crew, my girl gang is Black business women. So we all just feed off each other and really just help each other grow and reach our goals.
Are they in the same industry as you, or they come from various industries?
Yeah, so they're in the same industry as me, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
My best friend here, Goddess Rue, I opened the dungeon with her.
Nice.
So we're able to work together, and it feels good to like be able to vent to somebody about work problems and they understand what your problems are. Like me just venting to a vanilla person, and that's what we call people that aren't in kink. Me like venting to a vanilla person, they don't see my problems as problems. They're just like, just block them. I'm like, it's more than just that. Like there's things that we have to deal with too as sex workers that we have to see that we don't want to. So we deal with little microaggressions too.
I also love and commend that you are like building off of your brand to like turn it into something else. Like you have like an actual, I mean, I don't know if it would be considered brick and mortar, but like a physical space, and like, you know, like all these businesses that you've been able to parlay from your financial dom like persona and that work. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
It's an empire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We really wanted to have you on because, like Chelsea mentioned, this month we're talking about like finances and financial literacy. And I think people think very vanilla or cut and dry in terms of like, oh, like how can you make more money, or like what can you do, or like the different ways in which you can build wealth. But like one, we here all believe that like sex work is real work, and then the way that you can like parlay or hustle the hustles, like seems like it could be endless. But what do you feel around people who might not feel like your work is quote unquote work?
Like how do I feel about them?
Yeah, or like do you think that if things were like legal, or there was like more, I guess like some sex work is considered legal, but if it was less, I guess, stigmatized, like people would respect it more. Like what are your thoughts on that?
I think there's always going to be an issue when it comes to a woman, more importantly, a Black woman taking control of her sexuality, and not only taking control of her sexuality and who she is as this badass woman, but making money from it and making good money from it. So usually the issues, you know, and I even come into these issues when it comes to dating and just personal life, when it comes to talking to people, usually they don't see our work as work because they believe that we're just laying down naked, taking pictures and stuff. But it's like, to be a sex worker, it's so much that goes into it. Like we are our own payroll, HR, scheduling system. Like if something of my computer equipment or something breaks, I have to replace that. I can't rely on an office to replace it for me or anything of that nature. So it's so many things that go into our work. I pretty much think that sex work should be decriminalized and not legalized. only because when it comes into legalization, we see how this world moves with capitalism, and I just see that moving into a very dark place. Also, with decriminalization, it pretty much just allows us to move with free reign. It gets rid of those pimps. It gives us the ability to say if I do have a client and something happens with this client and they harm me, I'm able to go tell the police because I don't have to worry about, oh, now they're going to turn on me and arrest me because they see I'm a sex worker.
Right.
Yeah, go do, and it has happened in a lot of cases with people. So I believe in it just being decriminalized, being able to let us keep these safe spaces. Because I mean, even something as small as an Instagram deletion can be life or death for a sex worker. Right. You know, just being able, because not only do you lose your source of income from losing your Instagram, but you lose your community that you built. You lose people to talk to and connect with if something was going on. Because the sex work community, like we all we got. Like if there's something with a client that's crazy, whatever, we make those blacklists to be like, don't meet up with this person, they're crazy. Yeah. And if we don't have that. So, you know, when people look at my job and say like, is it really work or whatever, I used to over explain myself to them, but then I was like, at the end of the day, people just jealous that sex is always gonna sell, whether we in recession, a pandemic, whatever, the world ending, somebody's still gonna want to get off. So it's like, I'm still gonna be making my money. So
high key, it's a very stable industry in some ways, right?
Also, when thinking about, because I even think about our podcast, right? So we do have our brand as like an LLC. I'm sure you have all your brands or many of them like legit. So can you write off things like
outfits,
like lingerie, if you wanted to get like a BBL, if you wanted to get
not a
whatever
BBL,
you wanted.
oh my gosh,
like, some sex workers do. Like, I know a lot of like Cardi B got her BBL when she was in the strip club. But like things like that, can you write that off as like a legit expense?
Yeah, so actually I did my taxes this year. I did them last year too. I've done them every year since I've been a sex worker, and a lot of these things you can write off. So for instance, with me, like I write off, like I use a content room in my apartment for my content. So I write that part off. I write off my Ubers when I have to go back and forth to the dungeon and meet clients or to have classes. I write off my lingerie, my camera equipment, my ring stuff, anything that's used for whatever I'm doing. Also on top of that, I throw events. So all the decorations I have to buy, all the employees I hire, all the, like from catering to everything you can think of. There's so many things that can be written off as a sex worker. And the funny thing is, I see a lot of people on the internet like to poke fun at us when they see us making money, like, hope you're doing your taxes, the IRS is going to get you. And I'm like, well, first of all, most of the sites you see us on, OnlyFans and things, they make us file that paperwork. Right. So we have no support. So, you know, it's always ignorance behind, there's ignorance behind sex work. There's a lot of ignorance behind what we do financially, like how we spend our money, what we do with our money. People think we're irresponsible because we're sex workers, and that's not always the case.
Yeah, and I remember we were talking about, I can't pronounce the law. Is it SESTA?
SESTA, FOSTA, yeah.
Okay, can you explain to our listeners what that is?
So SESTA FOSTA is the Stop Enabling Sex Trafficking Act. So what it is when you think about it, when people hear like what it stands for, the Stop Enabling Sex Trafficking Act, the first thing in your mind is like, oh, that's great, it's going to stop enabling sex trafficking. But really what it's used for, it has not been really used for its purpose. It's been used really to harm sex workers that aren't sex trafficked. So for instance, I'll give you an example. Say if you have an escort that goes into a hotel bar and she wants to scout for clients, so she goes to the bar to sit by herself, right? There's hotels that can say that she's sex trafficking without even knowing her sex trafficked, and they have the right to approach that person and ask them what they're doing. So it comes down to like us being even discriminated or being judged before people even know us. So the intent was supposed to be well, but it has not been well. It's why so many Instagram pages are getting deleted. It's why so many things are getting taken down. It's why anything that sex workers do, they try to equate it to sex trafficking. Oh, you're sex trafficking. You're sex trafficking. Like it's crazy. So it's really been more harmful to us than helpful.
That's so interesting, because it's also just like another example of like laws attacking women in general. Like I know that there are male sex workers, but I'm sure that this is affecting women disproportionately, like, you know, than it is men. Like we're seeing all these like anti-abortion laws and like all these things that are like, and attack on women.
Yeah,
really.
and what it is like it makes people look at us as if, you know, because some of us are in sex work by choice. Some of us aren't, which, you know, it's horrible, it's sad. And, you know, that's why I work daily to do what I can do within my community, whether it's donate money, get people the help they need, the mutual aid fund, whatever. But they look at us as like, if you're in sex work, did you choose to do that? Who's forcing you? Like, it's always like questions like that we get. And it's like, no one forced me. Like, I made this choice to be here, you know? So, you know, sometimes it's taking away our choice.
Yeah. It's ignoring your autonomy.
Yeah.
Kind of switching gears a little bit, because you have this dungeon. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of Black people in the kink space, in the play space, and maybe this has been happening more like underground in the past, but like publicly now, I feel like I'm seeing it everywhere, and it seems really beautiful. I don't know if you just have any thoughts on that, anything that you've noticed, and just the community of like people into kink, Black people in kink specifically.
I love it. I love it. I'll say the last time I talked to you guys, which was February 9th, 2020, there was definitely not a lot of Black kink pages up. I mean, I was, you know, I had my page and people were coming to me for the source of certain stuff. But then during the pandemic, so many pages popped up. So many people started exploring. I absolutely love it. It's to the point where I've like collaborated with so many kinky people, even through my events, because, you know, majority of my events cater to Black people only. So it's like just having them. Yeah, no white people allowed, like none whatsoever. Like, no. Unless they're cleaning up at the end, that's fine.
Like, no.
Obsessed.
But I've met a lot of Black people through these spaces. So, you know, even opening Whip's Dungeon was big for us. We're 1 month old and we've already just done so many things in there. So it's like, you know, just to be able to give Black people a space where they feel like they don't have to deal with microaggressions. And that's why we built Whips, because I mean, even me renting from other white doms in the city, it was just always just something like, they just always clocking you, just being passive aggressive. It was, you know, the space was well needed.
Yeah, for sure. It's also so funny how much like we've all grown since that first episode.
Texting for all the growth. I see it.
Yes. Yes. I was listening. I was like, oh my goodness, this
deleted. I try to refund everybody back. I think that's the main thing that sucks about Instagram getting deleted. You can't remember who you were following every time. And it's like,
yeah. For sure. I mean, when we first spoke to you, I don't think any of us had ever been to like any sort of play party. No. Now I've been to 3, so.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta come.
When we spoke, my internet wasn't working or something. So I couldn't even talk.
All kinds of growth.
But I need to come to one of yours.
Yes, you have to come to a Black and Kinky. You know, my events, they are really good, and I love Black and Kinky because it kind of takes me away from the dom sub stuff and just lets me be in a play party and like really be around people, and I can just be myself. So you have to come check a party out.
Yeah. How often do you have play parties or host them?
So last year they were just about every 2 to 3 months. This year we took a little break, but our next huge one is a weekend in New York. So it's July 15th and July 16th. It's the 3-year anniversary. So I'm going crazy all out, and it'll be the first ever Black and Kinky in my dungeon, because now we're working on the 2nd floor. So we started on the 2nd floor this week. So yeah, it's going to be a good time.
That's so exciting. Take us through, set the scene for us. What does a Black and Kinky event look like?
Okay, so a Black and Kinky event, you walk in, you have my amazing assistant, who's also my best friend, checking you in or whatever. He always flies up here from Atlanta to help me. So you walk in, and usually I like to pick venues that have intent and have like a message or a meaning. I don't like to pick just, I'm just gonna get an Airbnb and we're all gonna pile in there. Like I like to pick actual venues, whether they're lofts in Soho or just other places. So you walk in, and usually I always have the music set. The lights are usually always dim. My favorite lighting is red, so there's always red lights. You'll go in, you'll see other people mixing and mingling. So the thing about my parties is that you don't just jump in and start feeling like you have to do things. I pretty much see my parties as a kickback, and you might see somebody fucking beside you. Like it might just like at my parties, people drink, people smoke, we have games, we have like Jenga and all different types of stuff. You really just come as you are. There's no strict dress code. There's no mandatory dress down, which I know a lot of play parties make people down at a certain time. I don't do that, because to me that takes away your consent and your comfortability. You might not be ready to dress down. And then you just come in, and then I have different, like sometimes I'll bring on kinky performers to do like fire play and whipping, and whoever I think is hot at that moment or that people want to see, I pretty much have like performing. We always have good food, because I know a lot of people don't like to have food at their kink parties, but I do, because people need to recharge and eat and stuff like that. And also, like, my thing is, after you're vetted and you pay to come to my party, your space is my space. So if you want to eat all night and not have sex, and maybe you want to eat your piece of chicken while watching somebody get it on, that's you. Like, that's what you can do. But it's just really an overall just good time. And a lot of people have made connections. I've had people get engaged.
Oh my God.
I've had someone that like they've been dating now for a while. Someone recently had a baby with their partner. So it's like so many different things happen. And there's also people that find themselves at my parties like, I didn't know I was bisexual until tonight, but I love it, you know? So it's so many different things.
Wow.
I love that.
Yes.
And it's also like so beautiful, like bringing it back to the financial conversation, the ways in which you've been able to think through like building your business. Like, did you always know that that was your goal, or did you like kind of start to learn and think about how you wanted to reinvest the money you were making? Like, how did that come about?
I think my goal was to always to be the Beyonce of BDSM. That's what I call myself.
Yes.
I love it.
My best friend, he hates when I say that. He's like, who do you think you are? I said the Beyonce of BDSM. My goal has always been to want to build within this community, but I think because of the pandemic, I was forced into it a little bit faster with building my business, because of just me doing my dom stuff, having my subs and my clients or whatever. Then the pandemic came, and I remember I had some classes planned for the whole year of 2020. And right around that same time, I quit my 9-to-5. So I'm like, oh shit. So not only did I quit my job, the things I had planned to make income, I now can't do. And I have no like choice or whatever. Like I can't control that. So then I was like, how can I still reach people and teach them and stuff or whatever while everyone's in the house? And that's when I created the Sex Academy on Patreon. So now the Sex Academy has been around for 2 years, over 150 courses, 700 students, always growing.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's like I was able to create that, and people like really loved it because it gave people opportunity to learn how to make money from home, to learn how to make money without showing their face. It even goes more into just teaching you how to make money. It teaches you the safety of BDSM and consent and how all these things are important and all these laws. Like it really goes deep into a lot of different things. So I feel like after that, I kind of just kept doing all these things, kept just bouncing ideas, kept just saying like, this is what the community needs. This is what I'm seeing a lack of in our community. Cause like a lot of these parties, you see them in the white kinky community.
Yep.
But yeah. So it's like, I'm like, how can I bring this to the Black kinky community and make it make sense and make it intentional? So I pretty much just went from there. And even now I'm still growing and learning. I still feel like I don't have my direct formula down, but I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Wait, can you say the name of the Patreon again?
So the Patreon is Sex Academy. So that's SEXCADEMY. Anything that I mentioned, it's all at the links in my bios on my Instagram or Twitter. So they could just click and just go right to it.
Okay, I'm like taking a personal note. You said do it without showing your face.
Literally, when she said that, I was like, oh.
Not that. Not only that, I knew it was a pandemic and that people were losing money. So I made it. It's literally since 2020, it's been $5 a month and has not changed.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And that's like affordable, accessible.
Yeah.
Friends are like, oh, you're in so much stuff now. You're so much bigger now. Why aren't you charging more? I'm like, because it's not about that with me. It's about making stuff accessible. And as sex workers or most people come into this work, we're already feeling like we're down and out and might not have finances. So $5 a month, it goes a long way, you know? So
yeah,
you are a real one. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like resource sharing is just super important in that industry, and just tricks of the trade, ways to stay safe, ways to protect your money, all the things you were saying. So that's super important. And it sounds like
because when I came in the industry, I didn't have any of that. I didn't know any stuff on Google is not it. It's like it just reaches the surface level of like, make sure you meet someone in a public place, and that's it. I'm like, I mean, there's more to it than that. So, you know.
Yeah. What was your 9-to-5 before you started this full time?
So I was an assistant buyer for Gap. I worked in a kids department. Which
no way.
Horrible because I don't like kids. That's it. But no, I was assistant buyer for Gap.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have an
And
expire on our.
yeah,
That's why
I
she's.
know. I'm like, that's my world. I know so many people at Gap. Like, that's so amazing that you were like, number one, I've heard terrible things. So good for you.
And I think that I've been able to also, like, my 9-to-5 corporate work helped me transfer into what I'm doing, financials and all that stuff. Cause it's like
lots of Excel.
Yeah, all I saw was Excel, numbers, formulas all the time. I just got so tired of it. Like, I gotta get out of there.
Wait, so what led you into becoming Mistress Marley? Was it just like you were so sick of your 9 to 5 and you were like, I got to figure something out? Like how did you kind of come into this world?
Sex work was always a part of my life. So in college and undergrad, I was a stripper. I was a sugar baby for a while. Still consider myself a sugar baby, but more of a sugar dominatrix. So I ain't taking no shit from nobody. Like I used to when I was younger, but I've always been into sex work. I've always owned my sexuality. So to me, it was just learning something new within sex work. So I kind of had a one up because I know some people come into this industry not knowing nothing about sex work, where I came in knowing that, okay, certain men like certain things and knowing really the tricks of the trade and all those things. So I was able to incorporate it into what I did, but I was still working my 9 to 5 at the time and seeing clients on lunch break. So it was a lot.
On lunch break.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
We talked about this on a previous episode where we're like, listen, even within your 9 to 5, like you have to hustle your 9 to 5 and like take things away from your 9 to 5. So you took your like buying background and applied it to like being able to do the finances in your work. And like you were like, lunch break, I'm getting bread. Like, see y'all, this is what the fuck I'm talking about.
It's like, if anything, I can just eat at my desk later. Like, I gotta go get this money. I gotta get this bread. Like, that's how I will always see it as hustling, because I think what really just had me really wake up one day and like, Marley, I can't do this anymore, was like just this. It just felt like the same routine every day. Wake up, get on the train. You remember like before pre-COVID, everyone squished like this, going, even getting off work, doing this again. Like every day it was the same old thing. But at the time you get home, you're tired. You got to do it all over. Like it was just, I just got tired of it. I just got so tired.
Literally. What does a day in the life look like for you now? Is every day really different?
So every day, and I love that. I'm an Aquarius, so we like change. We not good with same old. So like for me, it can range from anything from I wake up, I'll have a sub wanting to send me money or pay my bills. I might have to go to the dungeon and humiliate somebody. I might have to do a virtual session. I'm planning events. I'm talking with my assistant, who's also my best friend in Atlanta, on budgeting and getting stuff for the events. I'm selling tickets. I'm updating my content that I have for subs to buy for passive income. Or I also just have days where I go and just spoil myself and go eat food and go shopping all day and then come home and sleep. So like, it just really depends. And the thing I like about this work is I take on how much I want to take on. So even if a client was to message me today and be like, hey, I want a session, I could be like, okay, well, this is when I can do it. I can do it in 2 weeks. I can do it next month. I'm not doing it tonight. So it's like, being able to have that control is everything.
Be your own boss, girl.
Yes. Have to be.
I have to tell you that this is super inspiring beyond like just thinking about sex work. But I think when people hear this, they're going to be like, wow, I've been wanting to start this thing. Like I should just try and like do it, because that's what this is all about. I think the way you speak about like controlling and owning like what you do and having those days where you're like, I'm going to spoil myself. Like, I think that's so important as Black women, because we always talk about like Black women in luxury and how you rarely see it. And like Black women always thinking they have to like grind and be in pain. And I think that you're showing that you can have a balance and be a happy person. Like we don't always have to be struggling.
Yeah, and the good thing is being able to, at the same time, build up financially and like being able to invest in other businesses. Like, being a dom and these other businesses helped me be able to start up my lingerie business like it was nothing. Like I didn't really
lingerie business.
Yeah, I just started for December. I launched my baby Pink Matrix.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I launched Pink Matrix on the basis of I felt like lingerie companies were forgetting about sex workers, even though we're the #1 consumer for them. Like we buy all the lingerie for our content and all that stuff. So I felt like, we were kind of being forgotten about. So I made a lingerie line for sex workers by a sex worker, and a percentage of each sale goes to a sex worker foundation or organization to go back to help. So, you know, I was able to do that. And also my background, I did 4 years of fashion school, 1 year of fashion school here and graduate. So it's like, everything's coming back full circle.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm obsessed.
I know. I was going to say, you have a lot of things that the people can be tapping into. So I feel like before we go, do you just want to give us like a rundown? I know people can find it in your link, but you know, these people, they be lazy. They need to just hear it. And then they're going to go, oh, okay, let me go find that. So please give us like the rundown and then anything else that you want to share that people can look forward to.
Wait, but before we close out, I have one more question because I feel like that's a closeout. Okay. What are the different types of sessions? Because you did say that, like, I think you said like 95% of your clients are not even in person. Mm-hmm. What are the different types of sessions that a FINDOM does? I know we said wallet drain.
Yeah. So there's wallet drain.
Something over here. She got her notepad. She's like, wait, what were you saying?
All these gems, write all these gems down. So I'm about to drop some. So there's wallet draining. There's SPH, which stands for small penis humiliation. That's when a guy with a small penis comes on camera and you just make fun of it. There's JOI, so that's jerk off instructions, just telling a sub how to jerk off, but you're still humiliating them while doing it. There's foot worship, where you can just get on camera and put your feet in the camera and they just worship your feet from there. There's sissy training, which I love the most. So sissy training is for men that want to learn how to apply makeup and hair like a woman and dress up. So I love to have those subs on camera and I put them in dresses and make them model for me and stuff. It's real fun. That's my favorite.
Wait, question, with those, are you like being like, yes, girl, or are you like laughing at them? Like, what is the energy?
So usually the energy is like, that makeup looks horrible. You can do way better. Like, why would you think? Yeah, so like, and it depends sometimes. Like I have subs too that I'll give encouragement, but the subs that I can tell that don't try, they think sissy training is just putting on a wig from Amazon, the worst wig ever. I usually go in on those subs.
Good. Right, put in some effort.
And
yes. I said, right, put in some effort.
Oh yeah, put in some effort, but you know, it's fun. I love it. I can say that sessions, you just never know. I have one sub that just likes to wear a diaper and get on camera with me, and he just like wants to pretend to be a baby. So it's like, it's interesting.
Okay, I just have another question. Are there any subs that like eventually you like develop a friendship with, or like some sort of relationship with, or is it just like strictly business, like none of that?
It depends. I have a few subs that I like are truly my servitude subs. So they'll run errands for me around the city. If we have a party at the dungeon and I need them to clean up after, they'll come clean up. If I need a new photo shoot, they'll come be the photo shoot sub. If I'm teaching a class, they'll be a volunteer sub. And then I have some subs over time that I've created relationships with, to the point of, I wouldn't really say friendship as I'm hanging out with them one-on-one, but in the sense of when we're having a session, it's not always it's like, we're talking, how you doing today? Been like, oh, I went to this place, I went to that place, how's your mom doing, like certain stuff like that, you know. So it all comes down to the relationship you create, because most subs, they just want to come have their session, especially with pro doms. They just want to come have their session, get their aftercare and leave. So the aftercare is like a hug, or just letting them know they did okay, giving them some water, and they just want to leave. But then you have some subs that truly like live to want to serve you and see how they can be a better person to you in your life.
Do you feel like are you in character when you're with your subs?
I don't think I'm in character, because I think this is always me. Like I just love being a funny, like upbeat person, social. I'm a very dominant woman. Like even when I'm outside of work, I walk in a room with like, I'm just a confident person. I never walk into a room feeling shy or like everyone's looking at me. It's like, okay, everyone's looking at me, now what's for lunch? So like, it's kind of like, I've always had that air about me, because my mom raised me with so much confidence. She raised all her kids to have confidence. They were like, I grew up with nothing but positive affirmation. So it's like, that is what transferred over to my life. So I don't ever feel like I'm in a role. The only time I feel like I'm in a role is when I get a sub that wants me to be truly sadistic and so just like mean to them. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I would never say this in my regular life, but I'm gonna do it in the session.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask if it boosted your confidence, or like what is your profession giving you personally? We kind of talked about what it's giving you professionally, but you said you've always sort of been a confident person, but have there been any other like sort of impacts on your sense of self?
I think it's definitely taught me how to deal more with people. So my thing is I've always been confident, but I've not always been a people person in the sense of having people in my space, just carrying on conversation just because like I've been like usually in my life, I'm very picky about who I put myself around. But what this job has allowed me to do is come outside myself and really get to know people other than who I'm comfortable with, get to know why they like certain things they like, because not only am I learning about them, I'm learning about things that I can implement in other ways or things that might have been of interest to me that I didn't know about. So it's definitely how to like, you know, get to know other people outside of my box, and also to just like, also to have patience. It's taught me to have a lot of patience. You have to have
that. Wait, pause. Sade's gonna use the restroom, but I have another question. So Sade, you can go.
Okay. It's far though. So this is
just
like a whole
just go.
thing.
This is just gonna be cut out.
Okay.
Okay. You want to mute yourself though? Oh, great. I hope no one makes noise in her background. Okay. And then I just wanted to know, how has this affected like your dating life, if it has?
Yeah, so I'm dating an amazing man right now, which is good. He's very accepting of what I do now, but that is not always been the case. So like for me, dating, whether it's like hinge dating or going on a date from Bumble or anything, it's always something where I feel like either A, I tell them what I do now, or B, they find out somewhere down the line and I have to talk about it. And then also the thing about like, because I only date Black men and I like to date, it's weird because like in my professional life, I'm a dominatrix, but when I'm with a man, I like an alpha male. So I can be a switch. I can be a little subby. I'm still gonna have control, but I can be a little subby. So it's like not only do I date Black men, but I date Black men that are alpha male. So we already know how that goes. Like it's whatever. But usually what happens on the dates is that like I tell them what I do, and it's either A, they start getting defensive, like, oh, you're not doing that to me. And I'm like, well, you didn't pay me. And then or two, they want to learn, and I'm not here to teach on a date. I do that enough in my normal life. So it's just really, it was really hard before this new person to like really find that common ground, because in the Black community, yeah, there's a lot of Black kinksters out there, but this is still not popular in our community. It's nowhere near popular. So, you know, it's just having to deal with that, and I used to feel like I had to really try to be someone else, but now I'm just like, I don't care. Like I do this is how I make my money. I probably make more money than you anyway. So if you want to judge me, that's fine. But it's like, all right, either you're gonna like me or you're not.
Yeah, I love that. Also, I'm wishing the best for that relationship too.
Seems very happy. She's
Yeah,
glowing.
you're glowing. But yes, Glenn, did you have another question, or should we?
One random thing came up for me. Someone recently was telling me that submission is also about power. Like a sub does actually have power in the dynamic. Do you find that to be true?
I think the sub has power in the way of consent. So the sub has power in being able to consent to certain things we are doing. The sub has power in the ability to stop the session when they're ready. Just like I have that power, they have that power. So if a sub says like red, because red is one of our safe words in BDSM. If a sub says red, that means the session's done. They just controlled the whole session and ended it. Even if it was before I was ready or whatever, they have that type of power. I think a lot of people try to say, and I've seen this before too. I've seen it where people have been like, oh, well, really, he has the power because he's paying you. And like I see that all the time, but it's like, no, I have the power in being able to say, if I was going to do a session with that person, I have the power to be able to say, this is how it's going to be done. These are the tools I'm going to use. You're going to meet me here. I require this from you. You're going to do this for me. You owe me this amount of money. So I think like when people look at it as like, oh, well, he paid you, he owns you now. It all goes back to people think they have ownership of women. And it's like, no, he came to me. I did not seek him out. 100% of doms literally do not seek subs out. We don't go writing subs inboxes. Hey, do you want a session? No, that's unheard of. They always come to us.
That actually was going to be my question, is where you get clients.
Yeah, so a lot of my clients come either through email, because I have a website, which I recommend everyone have a website, because if social media drops tomorrow, at least you still have your website. I have clients find me on Twitter. That's where I get a lot of my financial domination clients, because on Twitter, you know, a lot of them want to be private and just virtual. So from there, they can be more anonymous on Twitter. I'll get some clients on Instagram, but I pretty much try not to talk with them up there, only because my Instagram is sensitive. I've had to delete it so many times that I try not to go there. And then I also have clients from just going out to kinky events and networking. Like, I go out to events to play and whip and spank and stuff, but I also take my business cards. So it's like, oh, you want a session with me? Here's a card. This is how you session with me, you know? So I still try to keep it professional in that sense. So clients can come literally from anywhere. I always get this question about, like, where do you find your clients? They find me, and they just sometimes come out the woodwork.
This is
You
so
build a brand.
informative. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So before we say goodbye and let you have the rest of your amazing night, can you give us the rundown of everything you're working on, anything you want to highlight, and anything we may have forgotten to talk about?
Yes. So I have a virtual seminar coming up on April 20th. It is called FemDom and Finndom webinar. It's free. So I have that in my bio. So everything I'm going to say today is in my bio. Then I have a Dom sub party April 22nd at the Dungeon. That's for all experience levels, even if you just want to come and learn how to be a Dom or be a sub, in the sense of not me up there teaching you, but you being able to see what's going on in real play parties, kinky play parties. I'm having a burlesque and BDSM event on May 15th that I'm really excited for. So my good friend, Empress Lotus, who is also a Dom, will be teaching burlesque, and I'll be teaching BDSM, and it will also be a dinner. So it's like a 3-in-1 type thing. And then I have, Jesus, there's so many events. Oh, Black and Kinky is July 15th through the 16th. That's in Brooklyn. It's a pajama jam type theme. So come in your jammies so you can be really comfortable. And then I'm doing a castle retreat in the Poconos, September 23rd through the 25th. So it's an actual castle in Pennsylvania that I rent out. It's our second one. So we did one last year. And that's going to be all around, like, for Black and Kinky event or whatever, for people to come have sex all weekend and play all weekend and have fun.
In a castle.
And an actual castle is crazy. It has like basketball courts and all this type of like it's amazing. So that's pretty much the lineup of my events. Whips Dungeon is always available for rental. All these things I told you like before in my bio. If you want more information, just reach out. And yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This has been incredible. Thank you for being a 2-time Black girl doing shit. You've been on the show twice. We're going to keep inviting you back because you are incredible. And I just wish you all the best, all the positive energy. And thank you.
You too. I wish you all the best. I wish Black girls in texting to even go even further. I can't wait to come back. Maybe when I come back, I won't be on Instagram page 1000. Maybe I'll still have this, but I mean, you guys are always so easy to talk to, and I just love, like, when I saw you hit me up, I was like, yes, I'm coming. I know I'm going with the like late emails because my inbox is crazy with so much stuff in it, but I'm coming. I'm gonna come back. So yeah, thank you for having me back.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. And you look beautiful, by the way. Thanks for giving us a look.
Yeah, if y'all are listening to this, you should go to the YouTube and just take it all in, because
I'm trying to become a YouTube girl. I'm trying, but it's just like, it's so much with YouTube.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
But I mean, people will watch your channel, so you should make one.
Yeah.
I have another hustle.
I have one now, and it's crazy because every video I'm like, sorry guys, I've been away for so long. I promise I'll keep doing videos.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yes.
I know those.
I won't update like 6-7 months to be like, I promise I won't do it again. And then I just
and we still be watching like Kiss You Come.
Well, if they want to see you, make them pay.
Exactly.
Venmo me. Maybe I'll make videos sooner.
Guys.
All right. Well, thanks for joining the group chat, Mistress Marley, and have an incredible day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. So this week for What Would You Do? We have What Would You Do? Now I have to find it. Okay, so it says, Dear BGT, or it says, Dear Black Girls Texting. I wanted to ask, since I know you all are professional wedding guests, I am in a friend group from high school, and we are all still friends and have a group chat of our own, actually. We all talk multiple times a week via text, if not every single day. One of the gals is getting married, the first of the group. I was invited to the bridal shower and the bachelorette trip, but was not invited to be in the wedding party. Here's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily have this girl be one of my bridesmaids either, but she asked every other girl in the group chat, and now I'm feeling some type of way. Should I go to her bridal shower and bachelorette party? I am confused why I was even invited if I'm not a part of the wedding party. What would you do?
Well, I know why you were invited, because a lot of people go to wedding parties and bachelorette parties and they're not in the group. It is a little bit awkward or something that everybody else in the group was invited but not you. But maybe like you said, you wouldn't have her in your thing either. And maybe like look at the types of relationships those other girls have with her. Maybe they just have deeper relationships. Like, listen, if you don't got to be involved in a whole bunch of wedding party stuff, it could be a blessing in disguise, girl.
Correct.
I love being a bridesmaid, but it's a lot of work, you know? It's a long commitment.
That dress is about an extra $400 plus
what?
Damn. Yeah, girl, bridesmaid dresses are not cheap. I mean, some people are like extra
Reasonable,
thoughtful and
yeah.
like they'll like do like a dress from like, I don't know, like a cheaper place, and like everyone can pick their own dress, but it's like the same color or whatever the case is. But many times it might be like a $400 dress that you're never gonna wear again. Because that's just what the bride had envisioned. So honestly, you probably saved yourself some time, some money, a little bit of stress, because also when you're a bridesmaid, you're there helping the bride get ready. You know, it's a very like you want to be like on your P's and Q's to make sure everything's perfect. It's a lot of pressure, kind of. It can also be really great. But again, you said that you wouldn't necessarily put her in your wedding. So I agree with Glenn. I think sometimes we're in friend groups, and like that doesn't mean that the other girl's not your friend or like you guys have beef or anything, but like the group comes with different dynamics between the different people, and like that's okay.
Precisely.
Yeah, I would talk to your friend about it if it like is hurting your feelings, and just be like, hey, like I'm really excited for everything coming up with you, and I'm super excited for you. I am like a little in my feels that I wasn't like included, and I just want to clear the air. If you feel comfortable doing that. I don't
You
think
think
it's
before
like
her wedding,
not before her wedding, like
like
I don't know when all
after the
these
wedding?
things are, but I would just say it like now to your friend, like, hey, can we like go grab a coffee? Can we
I
go
would
grab
not
a
do that.
drink and chat? Because I feel like it's just a way to get something off of your chest instead of like feeling uncomfortable around it and like letting it fester as all these events go on. Because I would want to go into the wedding like feeling like the air is super cleared.
I know what she could. Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, I was gonna say, I don't know how you can like make it not so intense, but like I don't know if you're really in your bag about it.
I feel like you can just hit her up and be like, hey girl, like I'm so excited, like you said, for everything that's coming up. I'm so honored I'll get to be there with you for your bridal shower and your bachelorette party. Really looking forward to celebrating you. And I feel like as soon as you say that, she might offer it up. Like she might realize, like she might be like, I'm so glad, and like I hope that you don't take it personally that you're not in the bridal party. Like I could see that happening without you having to like make it a confrontation. Just approach it like with like gratitude and like kindness, and I bet she'll peep without you having to.
My boyfriend didn't get invited to this wedding that all their friends are going to.
And I guess even the wedding.
Yeah, I guess he's not as close with the groom. I don't really understand, but the groom was just like, would you design something for me for the wedding so like you can be somewhat included? I don't really know like what that's about.
That's weird.
That's offensive.
But I guess but maybe it was like a small, like, I don't think they're that close.
You can work for me. You're not a guest.
I mean,
you want me to be included in some way, but you don't want my actual presence to be there. That's mad odd.
Yeah, that's
maybe
weird.
they had
it's less for me to come take the seat.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Oh, see, I was like, I love it. Get some money out of it.
I feel like, I'm okay to be your employee, but I'm not your actual guest. I don't like that.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
I didn't take it that way. I took it as like, oh, that's nice. You're like there in a way, but you don't have to
But
go
if
to
you want
the
me
wedding.
to be there in a way, then just let me be there.
Yeah, but like also let's give this girl advice. I think don't talk before the wedding. because I think that can come off a little selfish, because it's like, this girl gets one wedding. You don't need to be bringing your drama about not being in the bridal shower. But also, if you're going to have negative vibes at her like bachelorette party and bridal shower, maybe don't go to that either.
Right. But then that's even more weird, because now it's like, what? Why are you being weird?
Just
versus
like, I'm
just
sick. I don't
just
feel
being
well.
able to say like, oh, so now you're lying. Okay.
Yeah, that could actually spiral into something
That
bigger.
could get worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think necessarily that you should talk to the girl before her wedding, like, about you not being in her bridal
Yeah.
shower. Like, it's her fucking wedding. She can pick whoever she wants. Like, sorry that it hurts your feelings, but like, it's her wedding.
Yeah, I don't know. I was in a bridal party that was very big, and there were still like mad other girls that were involved, and I felt like we were all a part of like the bride tribe. Like, I feel like there was no hard feelings to the people that weren't actually in the bridal party. Like, everybody was a part of it in a way. I think the only thing, it'll get awkward, like if you're on the bridal, like if you're on the bachelorette party and all the girls are taking a picture together and it's like bridesmaids only, like that could strike a chord. You just got to have a little bit of humility. And I think you're so right,
Or
Chelsea.
maybe
Like, I
figure out
wouldn't bring it
why
up
you
before.
feel a way about it. You know, like maybe figure out what is making you feel weird about it. And if
You
it's
feel
just
left
being left
out. She
out.
feels left out. She's in a group chat and she's the only one. She feels left out.
yeah, but you
Yeah.
It's probably
said
not
you
even that
wouldn't
deep.
include her in your own thing.
Right.
So
it's
like
not that deep.
it
She just feels
it
left
seems
out.
like it's not that deep.
Yeah, it's just
or
the
is
human
there
thing
more
of
to the
feeling left out.
story?
Yeah, it's literally like that's literally a great way to put it. I feel like sometimes humans just fucking feel left out. Like, they don't,
yeah.
you know, when you want to get invited to something, but like,
But you don't want to
when
go.
you get invited, you're like, I don't even want to go.
Then don't say anything. If you're like, if that's the reason why, because you just feel left out, then don't say shit. If like, I feel like that's
suck
dumb.
it up.
No offense.
Write in your diary.
No, seriously, that's kind of stupid. If I was in my feelings because I was like, wow, you know, I really had expectations that like you would include me, and it means something to your relationship, or like it's gonna spiral into something else, then maybe like just clear the air. But if it's literally you just being like, I feel left out, then I personally think that's a bit silly.
Yeah. This is also kind of different, like, because I've had a similar experience, but like, I knew the bride the shortest amount of time versus like, this listener has known these people since high school. She said they're all a friend group from high school. But like, even still, like, it's not necessarily about the length of time. I don't know, girl, write about it in your diary. I don't think it's worth causing a fuss about this girl at this girl's wedding.
You gotta
or,
suck
like,
it up, sis.
It's not really about you.
And try your best not to talk shit about it with other people inside group chats, because then it'll also get messy.
Yeah, try your best, but life.
Best of luck.
It's
Enjoy
normal.
your saved money.
Right. You saved a $400. Maybe you should buy yourself something nice.
Please don't encourage this behavior.
Chelsea,
okay,
you
good
wanna
luck,
take us
girl.
out?
Yes. Anyways, thanks for listening. Good luck to that listener. If you want to give us a follow-up, feel free. Also follow us on Instagram. There's lots of like little juicy posts recently. So you can engage there. Our Instagram is Black Girls Texting. Our Twitter is Black Girls Text 1. Our Patreon's Black Girls Texting. YouTube's Black Girls Texting. Website's Black Girls Texting. Everything is Black Girls Texting, because the brand is strong and consistent. So join the bandwagon before it's too late and there's no more seats for you.
Ride the wave.
I think there'll always be seats, personally, but yes, please join.
Maybe we'll be at capacity.
Bye, y'all.
All right, y'all. Bye.